Hey, how are you, friend? Stephanie here from Escape and Paint, and I am so excited to be finishing this up. I'm still really not 100% certain what I think what I'm gonna do for sure. Um, I am like 99.999% certain what I'm gonna do, but you know how it is when you get in here and you get going. All right, so um, I'm gonna hop right to it today. When you join me, if you don't mind, I'm gonna switch cameras real quick, y'all. So beware. There we go. I got it pointing down. For those who have not been watching this week, there's some fun replays you need to go back and watch. I have been working on this piece. It's about an 18-inch circle, 16 to 18-inch circle, and it has 9 butterflies. We did the 3 biggest ones that are 3D and glued on. Which, I'm thinking now that it might not have been so smart to go ahead and glue them down. That really wasn't the wisest. And then I did the two biggest and some base on this one, I think. And then I did these 3, this one, and this one on another live. And then yesterday we did these 4 little guys. And today we're going to be working on the guitar. And had somebody suggest a waterfall, which would be great. I'm just not super confident with my waterfalls yet. I haven't really actually done one. And so what I'm thinking of doing is I've done this surfboard just kind of playing around. And I kind of like how it turned out with all the flowers. And I did some 3D flowers, some 3D butterflies on my own. So I think what I'm going to do is some little flowers like this on there. I did want to mention that tomorrow morning, this is the last broadcast on my page for this week. Tomorrow I will be in the group, the Painted Soul Creative Journey, and I will either paint the big patriotic looking owl, the big owl, or the little owl from Walmart. This one is one that I paid for the pattern and I cut it out. And then this is one from Walmart that you could pick up at Walmart pretty easy. I don't think it was just overly expensive, just $2 or $3, maybe $4. Of course, it may be more now. I don't know. But this one or this one, and I'm leaning toward this one just so I can be kind of ahead come Memorial Day. Tomorrow is Peace Officers Memorial Day, which kind of inclines me to do him anyway. So what I've done is I've traced off my guitar here so that I can test a couple of background ideas before I start on that, because this one I had actually sprayed with a primer and it has some gray in there along with the dark and light greens. I think you can see it now. There's some gray right there. And then there's the greens beside it, which it adds some shadow and depth, which I have no problem doing it that way if that's what we want to do. But I also had another photo that was kind of an inspiration for me of a painting that I'm trying to work on doing that had like the colors in it coming down, and then it's just got some 5-petal flowers and stuff like that. And I thought, well, you could do like the different colored flowers and stuff. So do I want to try that background? So I'm not fully committed to either background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my sponge wet here, and I'm going to try at least on a part of this background that I'm debating. Man, my watch is suddenly going bananas. I'm live on Facebook, I'm live on YouTube, and my friend is live. Okay, so because I think the guitar would have the streaks going this way, I'm going to kind of do my streaks this way. And this is another reason I'm practicing here, because I don't necessarily want it to have all this streakage around the edge. I'm trying to see how hard that's going to be to get around. Or would it be better to do it with a brush? Let me set this here and grab a brush. I'm kind of wanting the streaks that come with doing it with a sponge. because the brush, if you notice, smooths out a lot of that streakage. And I kind of like the wood grainy streaks. You can see when you look, this looks much smoother, and this has those wood greenish streaks. So I would definitely prefer the streaks. So I don't think that background's going to work because I'm going to have to tape way too much, and I don't have time or energy for that today. So let me see what I can do to find my gray. And I think what we're going to do then is take the gray. Y'all, I'm getting it all over me. I do want to take this opportunity while I am live to tell my sweet husband happy anniversary in front of everybody. We're celebrating 27 years of marriage today. Been together almost 29 years, which is kind of mind-boggling because in my brain we're still 20, 21, somewhere in there, young and having loads of fun. And that's just the fact that we've actually been married for 27 years is pretty exciting to me. Pretty awesome. So let's see if I do a gray. And see, then the question comes in, if you do a gray background and you add some greens on it. Let me dry that off real fast, because I will use my scruffy and I will pounce in some greenery behind it, and I think that would look good. What color do we do this? What color do we do this? And there's actually a little outline around the edge of this. So I'm trying to decide. I think I want to do this. I think is yellow ochre. Yeah. And I think what I'm going to do is kind of do yellow ochre. What do y'all think? Does that look like it would be a nice offset? Because I'm still trying to decide, do I want to do some cute little 5-petal flowers or 4-petal flowers, or do we want to do sunflowers? Because I'm thinking I could potentially do a couple of different little types of flowers. Kind of like we had at the, hang on one second, let me grab something over here. I'm just going to set it here so I can kind of have an idea of some different flowers that I've done and the different ways that they look. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a gray base. Now, I'm not sure whether I should do okay, this brush and I are not getting along, so I'm going to swap it out. You know, I've heard it said by some of the younger generation, not all, please don't think I'm saying all of you say this, don't take it that way at all. I've heard it said by some, and some were actually my age, so they're not really super young anymore, that monogamy is just being selfish. You want people to wait on you hand and foot and stuff, but I disagree. I think the longer you're with someone in a relationship, whether you're married or not, the better you get to know them. And I think that with the commitment that comes with marriage, that God intended to have come with marriage, that you become really close, best friends if you're doing it right. And you can support each other and you can love each other. And it's you get to where you know each other and you can kind of anticipate when your spouse is struggling with something. Not always, 100% of the time. I can't always say, oh, Philip's struggling with this or that, so let me go do this or that, or be here or do that. But I do try really hard to pay attention, and I know he does too. And when we're struggling or having something crazy going on, that we just, we're there. We do what we know we can do to help ease distresses and stuff like that. And so we try to just be there for each other. And it's just been, I can't imagine if, like some of these people, I didn't know the person I'm in a relationship as well. And it just kept changing every time you turned around because you just don't have a steady relationship. I mean, it just seems odd to me that someone would even think that was a good thing. But that's just me. So anyway, happy 27 years of marriage, my sweet. Do love you so much. Trying to not to get mushy because I will get all crybaby on you. Okay, I have a lot of paints on this desk so that they're within easy reach, but they're kind of being in the way. So let me move this napkin over here in my lap. A little folding holder over there. Put that there, and then this guy can go back in there. All right. So I'm trying to keep the gray for this part of the background in very specific areas. And I have no idea why that whole crazy slew of stuff about monogamy came out a while ago, but I do remember somebody once saying that they thought it was selfish for someone to ask them to be in an exclusive relationship. And I just did not comprehend it. Still really don't, because that's the best way to have a relationship. One, that's how God intended for it to be, one man, one woman for life. But the other part of that is that you get to know your spouse, your partner, and they're supposed to be your partner, not, you shouldn't think of them as just a play toy, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying not to be vulgar here, but I don't know. Like I said, I've heard people say at young and my age both that it was selfish to be that way. And I was like, why is it selfish to want to know your partner well? I don't know. We've grown together through the years. We've grown and grown closer. And we have a stronger relationship as a result of the years of knowing each other and knowing what we each face challenge-wise in different areas. Oops. Let me get a white. I don't want that to stay there. No gray in the skies. Okay. This gray is just not wanting to coat and cover like I thought it would. Let me see if some floating medium will help that, y'all. So anyway, sorry for the odd talk there, but I do love my guy. I do want him to know that I do love him. And I'm glad that I've never understood those multi-partner relationships. I don't. Where did I just get black from? I don't even have black out anywhere. Well, that's interesting. All right. So, sounds like the mailman may be backing up my driveway because the dogs are going bananas. He is backing somewhere down the road. Somebody's backing up and down the road. I don't typically hear their little vehicles backing like that, but maybe. All right, I'm just trying to kind of keep all the gray in this area. I'm not worried about it being super smooth because we're going to go over it in a minute with our greens. I am attempting to keep these circles that are around these things open because I would like to do them, I think, in a solid color. Trying to decide if I wanted to do it in that yellow ochre, which would look like a light wood, or if I want to do it in a dark blue so that it can look like the edge of the sky. All right, got that one down. All right, we're gonna let that dry. All right. So, yes, we have to decide what color will we do that. I have got somewhere. Oh, that girl, she's got my blue still. I'm gonna have to hurt her. She's got my good paints in the room, and I can't find the one I need them right now. That's not okay. All right, guys, I guess I wasn't thinking about needing the blues. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is a really dark blue. And this is Primary Blue from Deco Art. I'm going to just kind of... And I may go over it with brighter color in a minute. I'm just kind of trying to see what I think of this one. Because I'm thinking if I put it here as a contraster, but see, that color looked pretty good too. As a contrasting color. I'd kind of gone in with the blue sky there, so that might be better, huh? Yep, I think that's what I'm going to do. Now this is Island Blue by Anita's. It's a really pretty, very light and rather bright shade of blue. Sorry, I've got some paint boogers in the top of this, and I don't want it pouring out and getting into my paint, so I'm trying to peel it off before I pour it out. There we go. Okay. So let's take our little brush here. Let's get some Island Blue on it. And so I'm kind of thinking it's going to look really good, kind of mixed in with the primary blue. Kind of like it's water there. Kind of adding to our look. What do you think, guys? Okay, I'm going to turn it this way. And I think what I'm going to do is go over this whole piece here with the primary blue. I may do it in smaller sections so that the light blue can mix in with it as, you know what, I think I'm going to put the dark blue in the middle. And then I'm just going to go around the outside edge of it with the other one. Rather than, I was going to make that black, but I thought, well, the strings need to be like a darker color going across there. So what we'll do is we'll do that whole thing darker blue. So what's everybody got planned for this weekend? Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central, I will be in the Painted Soul Creative Journey group. And I will be painting an owl. Hey, Lori. No worries, no worries. I think we're all just a little busy these days. I was kind of trying to decide for sure what I wanted to do. And then I couldn't decide. And then I think I've decided. And oh, yep, that came up all the way. I don't like that. I want the blue, the darker blue to stay in the center hole with very few of those swirls in it. And then I wanted it to kind of swirl around the outer edge. I think I'm going to put some little flowers, some little 5-petal type flowers around the, on it. And I think I'm going to leave, do like some watery looking something around the outside of the guitar around here. And I've got gray on here trying to dry because I did my surfboard and it had a dark gray background. And then I scruffied on my my background for some flowers and stuff. Here, hang on. I had scruffied it on over the gray like here And you can see that it's gray right here. Hang on, let me hold it so you can see the colors. It's gray, but then it's also got 2 or 3 shades of green. So it adds to the depth and casts a little shadow in there, like that's some of the gray right in there. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So I've got the gray drying, so I can do that. And then I'm kind of working on a multiple shades of blue up in here. I was hoping it would add some contrast to the sky, add a little bit of that water element to the natural beauty of the whole thing, because I'm just not ready to try and tackle a waterfall. A waterfall was suggested, and I'm not thinking I'm quite ready for that one yet. Not saying I never will be. I'm just saying that for right now. I had tried an ocean scene and my water turned out okay, but all the landscaping around it was not very pretty. Yeah, I was thinking it would be kind of butterfly garden-ish. And that would be kind of tying it all in together. So I'm trying to kind of can y'all see where I'm at? Water can be very hard. I was actually impressed with my water. It was the rocks and the shoreline that just looked so flat. They just looked really flat to me whenever I was trying to do it. Now, this was like way early on in my painting, and I was like, you know what? You're probably trying to conquer something that you don't need to be trying to conquer yet. Let's stick with simple somethings over here. And when I came back to it later, I was like, oh, that water really doesn't look half bad at all. I'm really impressed with it. My landscape looks so flat and so blah. So I just thought I'd walk away for the time being. And then I was looking at trying to do, like I said, a waterfall for this. And I thought, you know what? I'm just not even ready to try. I have too many things going on to try and learn something else right now to be able to feel like I can successfully do it. So I've got primary blue from a Deco Art, and I've got island blue from Anita's. And I'm putting down, and I'm not rinsing my brush between either layer, just so you know. We're just putting the primary blue down, and then I'm kind of going over it with some of the island blue, and I'm just letting it kind of streak together because I thought that looked kind of pretty. And so that's where we're at. Yeah, I'm like, got too many irons in the fire. This time of year is busy for me because I'm getting ready for camp. And we go to 2 different camps, and I teach at both. So I'm trying to prep Bible lessons now. I'll be honest, last year when COVID canceled everything, I didn't do the planning that I should have last year to be ready for better prepared for this year. Let's leave it at that. I should have been. I should have. But I was thinking, oh, more time to learn painting. Yay, I'll be good. And so that was my bad. Totally on me. Totally on me. And I will work on being better and organizing my time better. I typically don't postpone if I can avoid. But I did put off because I thought, oh, well, that gives me more time to work on painting, and I'm working on getting this all online and taking this next step over here. So I'll just put that on a back burner and get to it next week. Well, next week. And I just kept telling myself next week. And here it is a year later. And so I will probably be spending some time this weekend getting those ready. I think we're doing dinner tonight, doing a dinner date since today's the anniversary. And 27 years, y'all. And I already had an awkward conversation basically with myself. Where I've heard people say that to want to be in a single relationship, like a monogamous relationship, is selfish of you to ask. And I'm like, no, it's what God wanted, number one. He intended for us to get to know each other and be able to better help each other through this life by getting to know each other and staying together and leaning on each other. But anyway, that was another odd conversation that I had with myself. That was strange. But I was reading a book and they were talking about how, and I've heard it actually said, I've had actually had people tell me that. And I'm like, so you think it's selfish for me to want to get to know the person that I'm spending that kind of intimate time with, and to want to be able to know them that well, to want to help them through everything, every aspect of their life. Y'all are like crazy. Congratulations, 41 years. That's quite an accomplishment. We're only at 27, but hey, we're working on it. I turned 20 on Sunday. We got married on Saturday. And I finished my college exams for that semester in the middle of that week. See, I think it's totally not selfish, too. I think it's just crazy that anybody would think that it was selfish. I guess because they don't want to commit. They don't want to have to learn how to think of the other person, look at their needs, and be depended upon to help through something. That's the only way I can rationalize that. Because to me, it's just illogical to not. I mean, we thought, the song, And I Thought I Loved Her Then by Brad Paisley. I don't know if you know it or not. He's basically talking about when he met her and he thought he loved her then. And then he thought he loved her after they dated for a while. And he says, I can just see you with the baby on the way. And then I can just see you and all these kind of things. But he's talking about like the progress of life. He says, and I thought I loved you then. Hey, Rita, how are you, sweet lady? In that song, he's talking about, and I thought I loved you then. Wow. Look at how much it's grown, how much it's changed and improved. And I'm just like, that's real life, y'all. If you let it be, if you work it now, it's not easy either. It's not easy. Rita, since you just joined us, and anyone else who's just joining us, we're talking about monogamy, and because it's my 27th anniversary today, and I told Philip I love him, and happy anniversary. And I was just discussing how I have been told point blank that it's selfish to want a monogamous relationship, to want someone to, and I think they have a skewed view, that person had kind of a skewed view of what was being asked. They have a skewed view of marriage and relationships in general, I think, if they think that that's a selfish thing. So that was what we were discussing, and I thought, I wanted to just say why I think it's just crazy to not want one, because you get to know each other so well. You can help each other through so much, and you help each other to be stronger and to build each other up when you're down, and help lift each other up in so many awesome ways. Count me selfish. Well, I can't imagine doing life without Philip, so If that makes me selfish, so be it. But I don't think that's selfish. I think that's the way God intended for us to do life, is with one partner. I mean, I realize that some people, their spouse cheats on them and then they remarry, and I'm praying that that's the right person for them then, because I would hate to see somebody get hurt more than once. I mean, it's bad enough getting hurt once, but then. So I'm adding kind of a water element to the guitar here, or I'm trying to. We're just going to say that. That way it kind of adds in some, it's breaking. I didn't want to do green right here, and I wasn't sure I wanted to do a brown in here, because I wanted it to kind of look, add some waterish to it. And now I'm going to do some flowers. I think that's dry enough that I can do me some flowers now. Okay. I think I'm going to take my scruffy first, and I'm going to take some green. And this is, I think, just, yeah, hunter green. And then I've got a little bit of fresh foliage, which is a light green. And I'm going to get both of them on my scruffy. And then I'm going to tap them out a little bit and thin it, like offload a little bit, because you don't want to have like big chunks. And then I'm going to tap it around. And that'll add to that edge. And don't think I care if it goes over a little bit, because we want it to look like a flower garden for our butterflies. Why is that so wet looking? That hunter green doesn't seem like it's as thick as the other, but it's also not the multi-surface. It's just acrylic, so maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but it doesn't look like it's coming off as well. So, okay, can y'all see where I'm at? Nope, I got to turn it. Okay. Thank you, Rita. Thank you so much. This is what we got when we went to Business Live back in October. And I think Tammy and I were starting them live, and we set them aside for them to dry. And we just never came back to them. By the time it was time to come back to them the next month to try and paint something, we had something else seasonal going on. And so we opted to delay them. And then I've had mine sitting around, and I said, I'm finishing it this week. I just got to finish it this week. I just got to get it done. I got to commit. So, and this week on my lives, I have been doing my butterflies. And I'm just kind of rocking it around a little bit so that a little bit more of different shades is kind of coming out and going down. I'm going to put my flowers all on top of these. Okay, I'm going to set this to the side over here. I'm not going to wash it just yet. I'm not quite ready. I think I've decided I'm going to do some 5-petal flowers. So I'm going to get me some violet pansy. Love that scruffy brush look. I do too. I mean, it really, looking at it right now, it's kind of at that odd stage where it's like, what are you doing with that? But when you put the flowers in front of it, it just kicks it up that next notch. I've got some magenta here. I think I'm going to do several different flowers, several different colors. I've got some berry wine. And I've got some Juneberry. And because this is kind of what I started with as an inspiration for where I did the the surfboard, and I did different flowers. I did one color set. I did 5 petals, then another color set I did 4 petals, then another color set I did 3, and then these little guys over here I just did one little wiggle all the way around in a small circle. So, but I liked how that looked, and it made me think flower garden in here, so I thought those would be like perfect together. So that's what I think I'm going to do here. I'm going to get a bigger brush because do I want a bigger one? This is my 12. I don't think I want a bigger one. Okay. So Violet Pansy and Juneberry, we're going to give you a shot together. They're both kind of darker. They're not like super dark. One looks just a little bit more. One looks a little more pinky purple, but let's see how they do. Let's see. Do we like it like that? I'm picking up green where it's still wet. Not a good idea to start. Hey, Miss Madeline, how are you, darling? Yep, I need to wait. I need to either wait or I need to dry that. I may have to get my hairdryer out because that just got green all in that. All right, ladies, give me half a second. I got to get my hairdryer. I'm going to mute myself because I hate for people to have to listen to the hairdryer going. All right, now I'm back. You can hear me again. Let me know if you can hear me again, just to verify that you can hear me. Okay, those look really dark, so I think what I'm going to do is switch to the Violet Pansy and white. And we'll see if that will brighten that up a little bit. Yeah. That's a little bit better. Okay, good. Doing good. Good to see you. So nice of you to mute the hairdryer. Yeah, it's really a loud noise, and I don't blame anybody if they don't know how or they can't. So I'm not fussing at anybody who doesn't. I prefer to mute it so that it's not overpowering any conversations that we're having. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Okay, that one got kind of off. That one got really fat. Oh, I'm starting to get in a hurry, I think. Kind of worried I'm running out of. I don't want to stay too long and keep everybody too long. I just try to come on and have fun, but I'm trying to get this. I want my butterfly garden kind of done today so I can hang this on the wall. Okay, I'm doing kind of a teardrop stroke. If I get enough paint on there. And I've got purple on one half and white on the other, and I'm just kind of gently pushing out toward the bottom of the teardrop and coming in. You don't want to push too hard, but you don't want to do it without enough pressure. It doesn't do it right either. I'm just doing some base flowers around for now, and then we'll do another color in a minute. So, I think, are we finishing up our sunflower, Lori, on your page this afternoon? Time got away from me yesterday and we were working on some stuff, unfortunately, so I didn't get over there while you were live. I've been trying really hard to be there live because I really like to see what we're doing over there. Yes, finishing the details today. Okay, that's what I thought was our plan, but I wanted to make sure because if something happened yesterday and you said, "Oh, we'll have to finish that Monday," I didn't want anybody to think. Okay. Today at 3, I have a doctor's appointment at 2. Okay, so it'll be an hour later today. So it'll be 6 o'clock if you're Eastern, 5 o'clock if you're Central, and then 4 o'clock if you're Mountain, and then 3 o'clock if you're Pacific. We live near a monarch butterfly grove. The butterflies like to hang on to the eucalyptus leaves. Yes, they do. It is so cool to watch some of that stuff. And I was told yesterday, my live was so wonky yesterday. Oh, bless your heart. I was, like I said, I was busy. We were working on some stuff. And I was watching the time. And the next thing I know, I blinked. And it had been like the whole hour was gone. I was like, wait, I was supposed to watch Lori live right now. This is not okay. So please forgive me. But we were just working away over here, so. Okay, can y'all see that? Do y'all see how I'm doing that? They look like dried leaves. That's the scruffy brush on there for sure. I love a good scruffy. Since I've learned about them, I really take advantage of them. I use them. I think I found out about them in September, October, somewhere back in there. Plaid sells them, but they're really a one-stroke Donna Dewberry thing. And this is what the scruffy brush looks like. And when it comes, it looks like a regular flat brush like this, but then you push them out a little bit. Now, you don't want to flatten them in the middle, otherwise it doesn't do right either. But you flatten them out, you push them out a little bit so they're out like that, and then you dip it in the paint and you offload, kind of like when you're using a stencil brush. And you get like one stroke. She typically shows you how to do some of the shading and stuff all in one stroke. So I load like the darker color and the lighter color, both on there, and then I'm just twisting and tipping and tapping as I go through. And that gives you what looks like a multi-layered painting there. I love my scruffy brush. No worries, you may not even be able to find me. When I was done with my live, it didn't post. What? Did you get it up somehow, Lori? So if I go over there today, I can't find that part? Oh, no. I told you I was waiting until we were all done to try mine because I started out behind. One. Okay, hang on. Let me tap it up a little bit and get it strong. Okay, I kind of wiped a little of it off because my straight chisel edge here was not strong. And I want a strong chisel edge for me to be able to do this. You don't want it all wet and soggy. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to kind of widen that one just a little bit. I did a recap post just showing how I did the steps, then did a time lapse. But if you need help, I will give you a private lesson. Thank you. Well, I told Philip the other day, I said, you and I are both wanting to learn to draw some, so maybe we need to sit down and go through these videos together so that we can just do something together like that, so we can both work on our drawing skills. I just know that as I've watched like you teach how to draw certain things and others, it's helped me with trying to figure out, okay, well, there's shading, so to get that effect that I'm looking for, I need to do this. Because there's been, like I said earlier, my landscape with the water, which my water actually turned out really pretty. My landscape looked really flat, and I didn't like that. I have since learned that there's certain, highlights and shading and all that good stuff that really makes a huge difference. Okay, so hang on, let me reload this guy and try that again. I'm trying to hold it straight up on the chisel, and if it gets too fat, it doesn't want to hold the shape and do the brush stroke right. Now, we're not aiming for perfect flowers here by any means. I just kind of want them to kind of layer over each other. I like the way they look. They kind of each stroke coming in and overlapping the other one kind of gives it the effect of the petals and coming together and laying over each other and all that good stuff. So don't. Well, Lori, I just want you to know I can't wait for you to open your membership because I have a seat reserved. I need to have a seat reserved, okay? Because I can't wait to get more of that drawing stuff going on. All right, I think that's enough of this shade. I'm going to rinse my brush off. Now, I don't always worry about rinsing my brush out, okay, y'all? So just so you know, I don't always worry about rinsing it out between colors, but because I'm trying to do some double loading and get some different colors in here, I will this time. I'm going to try that Juneberry again, but I think I'm going to do it with the pink, with the magenta. No, that's berry wine. I'm sorry. Is it? No, that's the Juneberry. Okay, so y'all, I'm changing colors. So I think what I'm going to do is do a different kind of, I'm going to do like a 4-petal instead of, kind of like I did on the surfboard. As I changed colors, I did, so here's a 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's not dark enough to cover that other one by any means. So we're going to have to go over that for sure. No, I think these colors are just too dark together. Well, here's hoping I don't mess up that first flower. Okay. I don't like it because it's too dark and you really can't see the other purple in it. Now, let's just see if I can kind of fix that. There we go. Woo. It was mostly dry, so I'm okay. Can I hold it up closer? That one looks like I smudged some of the strokes in it. I'm going to try and hold it closer while I do one of these, but I think I'm going to have to get a yellow. Let's put a daffodil yellow out here. And let's use it and the pink because that's going to be pretty bright. I'm going to get the yellow and the white on there. Give me just a second, guys. I think we want some bright colors in here. So I'm going to try and hold this where you guys can see it a little bit better, okay? Two, 3, and 4. And then what I'll do is I'll go back with the yellow ochre and put some dots in there for their centers. That way it kind of gives it that little bit of the seeding that's in there. Now, typically I wait to do that till I've got all my flowers done, but I was just trying to say that's how I would kind of help smooth some of those transitions there. This yellow is actually covering fairly well. I'm kind of impressed. Two, three, four. And I'll probably do like a orange of some sort for my middle on that one. Grab a little bit more yellow and try and sharpen up that chisel edge. I try to keep it pretty flat. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just kind of doing a little tear and pushing it out toward that edge. Just got to make sure you've got enough paint in the brush and a good chisel edge. There's been times where my chisel edge is straight, but I got so much paint at the very end of it, not far enough up in it, that it drives me crazy. Okay, do one in here. One, 2, 3, 4. Can y'all see that any better? Whoops. Okay, that one's dropping and I gotta get. There we go. Is that gonna focus at all? There we go. Now you can kind of see it. We're just doing little teardrops in there. Yellow and white. And I put just a dab on each corner and then I just kind of work it back into my brush. You really need your paint at least 2/3 of the way up your bristles when you're doing this so that it'll come out as you're doing it. I don't have it worked in as well as I should have, but they're doing okay. 4, I'll do one in here. Oh, I almost did that one backwards. When you've got it double loaded well, you can go both directions if you can make your hand manipulate the brush that way. Sometimes there's more paint one way than there is the other. So if you can get your hand to do the strokes right, you can go both directions and you're kind of pushing it through from one side to the other, and it helps. All right, I don't think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is good. Now, what color do we want for our petal? Let's do the berry wine and the yellow. I'm going to have plenty in there, like it needs to be 2/3 of the way up here. So for you guys to do this, if you're going to try it. Okay. I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. Now these flowers I'm just making up. I'm making up the colors and everything. So Have no idea what they would be. I'm just kind of trying to add some simple flowers that we could do. Relatively easy. And if you, when you get better at it and you've got them kind of pulling in like that one, some colors are just, you can't really see it on the yellow and white because they're neither one strong, but the yellow is being so light and this berry wine being so dark, you can see when it pulls in each of those different ones, and it's really creates a petal shape without even trying too hard and getting that worked in. Colors are showing up in your garden. Yeah, I think so. I think it's looking pretty cool. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, my son and his buddy probably just walked in the back door, just so you know. It might get a little loud. We're babysitting the grand pup for him, so he's picking him up, so I don't know how long he'll be or how noisy it might get. Because, yeah. All right. Okay. Love you. Be good. I don't like that one. Come on, make it right. There we go. That's better. I'm liking these colors together. I'm sure there's got to be a flower of some sort we can do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do a little one here. There we go. One more. And then I probably ought to put some budding flowers. Where do I need another one? Right in here, it looks like. There we go. Okay. I did not put any little budding flowers for the purple and white. Like any trailing flowers around. So hang on, let me go grab some of that and we can do some little flowers of different sorts in here. That's where I've seen that combination before. Hey, Melissa, how are you, sweetheart? Thank you for sprinkling. I appreciate that so much. What did I do next? I did the yellow and white. Oh, Clint done took Caesar, so Rosie's out there whining because she can't get back into her mama's room. That's funny. We're just putting a few little like blooms and They're starting. And I'm going to put the berry back on here with the yellow. And we'll do a few little in there too. We've got just a few little thingies coming up, like there's little blooms on the plants and just little splashes of color in here where they're trying to grow and peek out here and there. And then I need to dot, so I'm going to go ahead and grab, I think I'm going to get terracotta, Pueblo. Okay, let me shake it up real good. We're going to take the Pueblo and add some centers to some of these. I've got some yellow ochre as the center for some of the others. And this is a bigger brush, a brush handle. I probably should have gotten a smaller one, because these are just like really big. Okay. I'm going to take a little of the yellow ochre and the Pueblo and see what we can get for these. It's still going to be mostly the orange, so. Okay, let me wipe that off and I'm going to get something smaller and I'll do it with that. Do it with this slightly smaller one. I showed y'all earlier this week that I take a little stylus. You can use just about anything. A toothpick works. I'm putting an odd number of dots in there. I don't want to do all of them with 3. So I'm putting 5 in these. They say an odd number is a good thing to have for your centers there. So for all of it, for the eye thing, to help make it more noticeable. I'm going to take a little bitty flat brush. If I can find my littlest bittiest one. I'm going to get a little bit of green on it, a light green on the one side, and then I'm going to get a little bit of the dark green on it. We're going to do some leaves. How's everything in your world, Miss Melissa? And I'm not going to put a whole bunch of big leaves. I'm just going to kind of have some sticking out here, some little ones. We're going to do some darker ones here and there. And that are a little bit more dark. We'll do them in bunches of 2s and 3s. And I'm just doing a regular kind of well, when I think leaf shape, just a generic leaf shape, I just think it looks kind of like an eye without the center in it. That's too light on that spot where there's all that light, so let's put a little more dark in there. I'm just kind of giving it a little bit more general shape, and I don't like this one. This one's too small. So let's go the next one up. Let's get it wet and see what we can do. We're almost done, y'all. We can pull and pull. get enough green on there. A little bit on the side. We can kind of lay it down, push and twist up. Push and kind of twist up. Push and twist. Push and twist. I need to get more of the darker green. I think I might need to get this other one because it's a little thicker and it does a little bit better. I've decided I do like the multi-surface a little bit better for certain projects, especially because it is a little bit thicker and it does like hold its shape a little bit better when you're trying to do some of these. I'm just trying to put some general leaves in here. And we're going to go ahead and let them come over that edge. I have one coming here. One over here. Okay. Now, I will probably let this dry before I do anything more. But I have some strings I need to attach and some little dots down here. Is the multi-purpose a craft paint? Yeah, I mean, I can find it at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michael's. It's Folk Art brand. It's a multi-surface. I know Deco Art has some as well. I haven't really used the Deco Art multi-purpose. I have some. I have multi-surface that is neon. But the neon is kind of thin in and of itself. It's kind of a different than the regular paint is. So it kind of is thin and doesn't show up as well as I would like for it to. So I don't typically use that. So this is, yeah. All right, hang on just a second. This is Anita's. And see how it's a little thin petal? This is the citrus green, and that was what I poured for my scruffy to do the green in the background. And this one just pours out in a puddle, and this one's still kind of thick. Can you see? I mean, if I slid it like this, you see how much thicker that is? And you see how this is a nice, I don't even know if you can see it. It's so thick right there on that green. This is kind of sitting here in a big, thick string. Let me see if that lighting, let's see. I know you can see it hitting the shiny parts of it up here. But you see, these are the petals that I had my flowers in. I mean, that's a lot of, this green was multi-surface. This green is multi-surface. This one was not. This is just a permanent acrylic craft paint from Anita's. I usually pay just a little bit more for this than I do for the Anita's is one of the cheaper brands. It's kind of like the apple barrel at Hobby Lobbies. The Anita's is a little thinner. I've just really gotten where I like the Folk Art one. It's not too expensive. It's a little cheaper than some, a little more than others. But if I need to thin it down, I can use floating medium, which helps it to, it's the fluff and paint that makes it paint that the pigment goes in. So it's like you're adding more of that to it and thinning it down with that rather than watering it down. Although you can water it down. I just don't necessarily do it depending on the design I'm going for there. But I have gotten where I've really, really, really gotten where I love the thicker. Well, this is the gray that I poured out. Hang on, let me show you. See. Okay, do you see this puddle right here? This is the gray that I poured out to do the whole background when I started an hour ago. Do you see how it's still kind of thick and in a pile here and not all spread out like that one? Yeah. I'm not quite ready to spend the money because what I do is not a quality enough, personal opinion. It's not enough to need the really expensive artist stuff, or high quality artist stuff. Although I do realize that you have to have quality paint to do quality work, because sometimes you just can't get certain paints to do what you want them to do. Because I can't get the Anitas to do these 2 layers flowers. It just doesn't hold up. It just kind of smears together and doesn't stick to the brush the way you want it to. It does do the ombre well and blend well. So I do prefer a very thick paint, and I do have a preference for that. Okay, let me grab my black. Where did it go? It's here somewhere. Okay. So, and it's not too expensive is my big thing. Is I like the folk art is a reasonable price, but it's a good quality for the reasonable price. Now I've got some of their acrylic, which this green was the folk art acrylic paint, and it just kind of puddled like that one did. And I was like, what's wrong? And I realized, oh, it doesn't say multi-surface on it. It just says acrylic. All of these say multi-surface. And they're just that little bit, with the exception of the yellow ochre. And maybe there's just something different about that one, because that one stayed in a pretty thick pile. But most of the folk art brand I found is thicker, so I can do what I need to do and not. Okay, I put the black on the gray right there. And it's just a nice thick little chunk there. Right there. The lighting is just not being my friend today. All right, so I'm going to get my liner brush. And I'm going to attempt to pull these. I'm going to get it just a little wet. I don't want it really wet. I'm going to add a little floating medium to it if I'm going to thin it down a little bit, because I want it to be a thick color. And I'm going to twist as I'm pulling through here. And I'm going to start. I'm going to pull it toward me, and I'm going to do one stroke as long as I can, just one long stroke. And that didn't last very long, did it? Oh. I need to stabilize with my pinky there and then kind of lightly glide down. Get a little bit more. And glide down. Just running out of color right in there. Now, there are 6 little dots here. I should probably color in with one color or another. I'm going to grab some more of this light blue, and I'm going to color my dots in. And these would be kind of where the strings meet it on a real guitar. And we're just kind of adding to that. Look. And I thought about doing them in silver, but I don't think I want to. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For each of the strings down there. All right. Whoop. That wasn't smart. Don't leave it laying right there, honey. You're going to get paint everywhere. Okay, so we're going to prop my pinky out. Reload. Line up and pull. Now there are other fret bars on this guitar. And this is starting to really go wavy. I may just need to get a marker and do that. I think I'm going to take a marker and do that. I'm not doing so hot with that. It's not doing so bad, but it's not doing so good. So I'm going to kind of cover some of that back up with some blue shading. And then some light shading. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to take a marker or have a ruler, one of the two. Because, yeah, I'm that OCD. I need it to be straight. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I really enjoyed the conversation. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me as we were finishing up Dreamer, the Butterfly Garden. My Dreamer Butterfly Garden. I'm trying to get out of the way of the camera here. Let me move that camera that way. There we go. Now we can see it. So I'll finish those strings when that's all dried and I can get my marker on there to it. A long ruler is very correct. I will definitely be needing a long ruler. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. And I will be in the Painted Soul Creative Journeys group, the Painted Soul Creative Journey group tomorrow on Facebook at 9 a.m. Central. I will be painting an owl. And otherwise, I will see you Monday at probably 2 o'clock. Y'all, 2 o'clock Central. Y'all have a great day.